Hello and a very warm welcome once again to Volleyball in Italy, where you join us for the final day of action in the round-robin phase of the 2018 Volleyball Nations League. Taken to the court here today are Belgium and Thailand. Two teams at the wrong end of the table as far as they are concerned. It's the Thais who arrive first. Ranked number 16 in the world, they're in the midst of a really difficult losing streak. They have lost their last 8 games. They come in with a record of 2-12 overall, 7 points for 15 out of 16 in the round-robin standings. So looking to end the campaign with a win. They've competed well in patches throughout. They've excited and enthralled the host cities where they have played, including 2 weeks of hosting VNL action in weeks 4 and 5. Quick systems, lots of changing, decoy runners all over the court. But they haven't secured a win since the final match of week 2. That was match number 6, a 5-set victory over Poland. They're looking to end that difficult stretch today, and they're facing off against Belgium, one of the 4 challenger nations in the women's tournament, ranked number 13 in the world at the 2013 European Championships silver medalists. And they too coming in on a losing streak, although they did secure a win more recently than Thailand. Their most recent win coming in week 4 action in Bydgoszcz in Poland, where they had a straight sets victory over Argentina. But they have lost 3 straight and are looking to end that losing streak at Thailand's expense. So, in summary, one unwanted streak will be coming to an end today. These are how the matches have played out so far for the respective teams. Belgium battling hard against Brazil, but losing in 4, and then yesterday losing in straight sets against Italy. Thailand have lost in straight sets, and yesterday a 3-1 defeat against Brazil, taking the 3rd set. Well, the 2 teams in action today not involved in the upper half of the table. All of the finalists have now been set. The top 5 teams, along with China, which means that the host nation from where our action is coming today, Italy, miss out. More on that later on. But there you can see this end of the table, where Belgium in 13th place are squaring off against Thailand, 2 places beneath them. And somebody's unwanted losing streak will be coming to an end today. Just the second meeting between these 2 sides at the world level. Earlier on, the 2 captains conducted the coin toss, and it was Belgium who won the toss, and they elected to serve. So Plunjit, the Thai captain wearing number 5, presiding over the toss, but we haven't seen her on court so far in week 5 action. Leading out the Belgian team is their enthusiastic captain, Ilka van der Weyen. Well, former GB international Clayton Lucas is alongside us to provide co-commentary and expert analysis. And as we said, Clayton, both of these teams in a difficult stretch at the moment, but no ties in volleyball. Somebody's losing streak is coming to an end today, so even though they can't progress through, how much is going to be riding on this final pool match for both teams?
It's a huge game for both teams. Thailand have a slight advantage, having played Belgium. They've had a 3-1 victory, but the point of this is, even though neither of these 2 teams can go to the finals, and both teams are safe from relegation out of the VNL, this game means an awful lot. It's a chance to finish on a high, to leave the VNL with the win. Not only that, both these teams will have set pre-VNL goals about what they want to do, what they want to achieve, and how they're going to achieve it. Now, in some parts, that may not be the number of wins they want to get, but it's all about the performances. And certainly players that will be looking for good performances. If we look at Van der Veer, the captain for Belgium, she knows that if she's not playing well, she'll be off court. The same as Herbots. And even though she is only 18 years of age, she is still learning the game. She's become one of the big stars for Belgium, and now she knows as well that in order for her to stay on court, she has to play well. So there certainly won't be any complacency. There won't be any feeling that, oh, this is a nothing game, it really doesn't matter. It matters an awful lot for both teams, for all the players, for the coaches as well. They've got their reputations on the line in terms of them and what they want to do professionally. These are professional players as well. They get paid to do this, and they're out there not only because they want to be there, they love the sport, they want to win. They want as well to keep the fans happy. They don't want to let the fans down who like watching them play. So for anyone who might be thinking, well, this doesn't mean anything, it's the last game, it's a dead rubber, then as far as the players are concerned, it couldn't be anything but further from that. This means an awful lot for them, Janssens. And for Plumjit as well, the captain for Thailand, she spent a lot of this as a watching brief. She's more of an experienced player within the team. She's coming to the end of her career and helping the new crop through. But if she gets an opportunity to play, she still wants to have that. She still wants to play at her absolute best and show that she's still good enough. Anyone who's played sport to this level will know that it's not a big lifespan. You don't get an awful lot of time to do it, and you want to make the most of it. And as you get nearer to the end, you want to play as much as possible as well. It'll be interesting to see whether Plumjit gets to play. Another player who's done very well for Thailand is Sataya. She's at over half, 55% success rate in terms of her attempts. The problem that Thailand have had from the games that we've seen and just in the last couple of days has been their consistency. At times, as you mentioned, they play some delightful volleyball, particularly Chirapon, who is looking to find gaps in the block with their attacking runs and to have plenty of misdirection, which is something Thailand like to do. They're very similar to the way Japan play in that respect, but their big problem has been dealing with the weight of serve, and then they haven't really been smart enough with their attacking when they've been faced against big blocking teams, in particularly Italy, where they really did struggle. Against Brazil, they had more success because of Brazil's blocking style, but certainly for Thailand, they'll think they've got a chance here against Belgium. It should be a really good game.
So we'll pause now for the respective national anthems prior to the start of this final pool match. So as the teams make their way to their final pre-match huddles, time now for the introduction of today's officials to the crowd in attendance here near Boli. Here is Hungary's Laszlo Adler, in charge of international volleyball matches since 2005. Very experienced official. Colleague from Greece, Mr. Rothodoros, international official since 2002, so a very experienced crew taking charge of this game as we prepare for the introduction of the respective starting sixes.
It's going to be interesting to see just exactly what the coaches do. I get the feeling that really both coaches will want to put their strongest sixes out. They won't be thinking for 1 minute that this is just a chance to give the bench a run out. And it's Belgium who are making their way out onto court first, and indeed in that vein of putting on the strongest players. Britt Herbots gets the nod, number 3. She's going through the outside. And then it's going to be Celine van Gestel. There's the other outside, here's a number 7. And there's number 8, Kasia Grabelna, will be starting in the opposite slot, a change from yesterday. Some question over whether or not Van der Weyer, not Van der Weyer, she's starting, she's out onto court, she's setting. It's going to be Marlies Janssens, number 13, going through the middle. Some question over whether Carolina Goliath is fully fit, number 16. We may not see her during the game, she certainly isn't starting. Last player to come onto court, Silke van Avermaet, number 19, the other middle blocker. 2 liberos available, Lisa Niet, number 1, and Jodie Williams, number 20. It's likely to be Williams who will start as she goes out onto court, but Niet can come in at any time. Gert van der Broek, cool, calm and relaxed. He only really got slightly perplexed once so far in the 3 days he's been coaching. The rest of the time he's a pretty cool customer, gets his information across calmly. Thailand now waiting for their introduction. The Thailand fans have been non-stop smiling and waving the flags, and coming out onto court, it's the captain Plumjit Thinkau will be starting, going through the middle. And the other players that are going to be called into action. Onuma Sitarak through the outside, number 6. Ataya, number 7, with his middle blocking. Chachuon is going through the outside. Charapon is also going to be seeing court. That is what head coach Sira Charma Yutakul has decided is the team that needs to get the job done. The big difference for Thailand is the fact that Plumjit is playing through the middle. This is how Belgium are lining up. And to be the setter in the back row. Grabelna will be in the front at 3. And this is how Thailand are lining up. Charapon at 1, Plumjit is at the front and centre.
Belgium, who won the toss and elected to serve. So they're just getting themselves into position to get this first set underway. The final pool match of pool 19 here in Eberle. It will be Celine van Gestel to get things underway. Service reception from Charapon, and then she's called into action. What a 1-2 combination that was. She made the service reception, received the set, powered it down forcefully to put the first point on the board for Thailand. So it's Chachuan with the serve. Overhand reception from Herbots. She's then called into action with the spike. It gets a deflection. Chachuan goes to ground. It's kept alive by the libero, over from Onuma. Now a little bit of confusion between Belgium. So some forceful hitting, really putting the defenders on the back foot, and it's Thailand who come away with the point despite appearing to be in a little bit of disarray. So good start for Thailand. Chachuan with the serve. Received by her bots. Reverse set. Delicate touch over from Grobelna. Diving save by her bots. Backcourt spike is a delicate one. Now Thailand with time to set. Onima with that rocket of an arm, but she got it wrong. Belgium celebrate the block, but I'm not sure whether it even cleared the tape.
Thailand were in control of this rally, but it's a cut away from the body from Onima. She's tried to avoid the block, and she's hit that outside of body line, didn't get a high contact, and the net has caught her out.
So Belgium with their first point on the board, they trail by 1. Difficult reception from Onima, has to go over on this contact. Onima still got something out of it. Terrific dig at the net by Hatia, and forceful blocking from Belgium once again. Thailand do well to keep themselves in the rally, but they couldn't repel that one. Janssens slapping that one down into the open space at mid-court, and Belgium tie things up at 2.
Early indication of Belgium's height in block, and then secondly in transition with Janssens going through the middle to put that ball away using the mismatch against Thailand's block.
So Chachuan puts it to the outside. Double shift, quick succession for Charapon, but the put away provided by Chachuan.
Belgium did well here. They see the pipe attack coming. They've tried to get in and help out, but there's a gap between Janssens and also between Grobelna, which is exploited by Thailand.
Service reception by Van Gestel. What a dig, but it's an unsuccessful one. And, well, her box was really animated at every one of her team successes yesterday. And here's an example of the first one this afternoon.
Big swing from her, sets herself to go cross-court, and she's gone over the top of the block. That's going to cause real problems for Thailand if that continues on throughout this game. And what it shows us is that for her bot, she doesn't need to be going quick. They don't need to go fast out wide. They can set out a nice high ball, so she's got plenty of time to then go over the top of the block and hit deep. Thailand will really be scrambling if that's the case.
If you take the average height of the athletes on these teams, as Charapon can only reciprocate the service error to square things up at 4. Belgium, the taller side by an average of 8 centimeters. An average height of 184 centimeters as opposed to 1.76 meters for Thailand. As Clayton's been pointing out throughout this week 5 of pool 19 action, Thailand used the speed to their advantage with terrific dynamism, and there was an example.
Onima coming in very quickly, the middle attack coming up and just trying to catch Belgium out, which they do, and as a result of that, Van Gestel didn't even jump, or Van der Veer didn't even jump, as she was unsure where that was going. It's a free swing for Onima.
So Onima with this venomous jump spike serve, dealt with by Belgium, and then the powerful backcourt spike produces a point. Grobelna, who didn't feature yesterday, she was the leading scorer for Belgium coming into this pool 19 of week 5. But having not featured, she's been surpassed in that regard by her bots. Well judged by Thailand. Chachuan electing to watch the ball land out of bounds. Difficult service reception, but Belgium scramble magnificently to keep it alive and produce the points off the broken play.
Thailand watching that one, they can see it's a terrible ball in, it's low and flat, there's no middle attack can come, they just about scramble it over, but Thailand too busy watching and not preparing for the only way the ball could come over.
So Van Gestel preparing to serve. She's got 1 point in the match so far. Difficult reception by the libero, but Pianut managed to get something on it. It has to go over on this contact. Thailand do so effectively. Now acres of space and time for Belgium, and unsurprisingly they come away with a point. Van Gestel doubles her tally at her second clean kill. Thailand put it over. The second contact. And they were really under pressure. The sideline spike producing the point for Belgium. So that triggers technical timeout as we arrive at 8 points. Forceful hitting from Grabelnik.
Defender at 6 needs to be, which is on Uma, needs to be on that baseline really, so that anything over the top, down the line where the libero's in defending short, she can run around and deal with. I don't speak Flemish, but it looked pretty obvious that the head coach was talking about what Thailand are doing, the fact that they will look to hit shots off the block, block out, block. So going with a thumb up to the outside, thumb down, coming inside, and that the block needs to be well disciplined across the net and then not chasing after the ball. Especially if a player goes with their hand up in the air. That's the commonly used information that coaches have to tell them how effective their players are being in each of the rotations, how effective they've been per set. So that will give him some idea as to who's performing and who's not. But ultimately, you can make only one mistake in a game. If you do it at match point, you lose the game. There's a lot of other information that the coaches take on board other than just the stats produced.
Hatia with a terrific put away to bring her team back to within 1. And stems Belgium's run of points without reply at 3. A high-speed spike, and then look how she applied the brake so she didn't make contact with the net. 1 point in it. Sara serves. Towering put away through the middle from Van der Viva.
Good speed through the middle, and no one able to stop that one.
Actually, Van Avermaet who made that kill. Belgium increased their lead to 2. So the reception of the serve from the libero. Oh my goodness, from outside the confines of the court, and Herberts is hyped about that one. Terrific swing.
Again, she goes over the top of the block. And that means now that the defenders really have to ignore the block. They should do anyway to a degree. The block's really an outline. The defenders, somebody has to get opposite Herberts in the back row and line up shoulder to shoulder, chest to chest, so they can take that power spike, especially if it's going over the top of the block.
Well, Belgium are flying right now. Everything they're doing is coming off, blocking that overhead attempted by Onuma. Coming up with the point-winning play. Terrific penetration over the net. Janssen got the decisive touch. So Belgium with the largest lead of the match so far. And Charapon thunders it down. Van der Viva with the dig. Thailand's block ineffective. Belgium extend their largest lead. Timeout has been called. Thailand trailing by 4.
Good defence by Belgium to get the ball into transition, turning defence then into attack. Grabelnik gets it off the block and away. Very good performances from Belgium. They have been very disciplined with their block, not been chasing after the ball.
Well, Hatia coming away with the point for her first of the match.
More of this required by Thailand. It's the speed of the attack that gets the job done. Janssen's guilty of keeping her hands too low to start with. Doesn't close the gap between herself and the net.
Overhand reception from Van Gestel. This time, the spike of her box is dug out. Good blocking at the net from Belgium. Thailand keep themselves in the point. Aicharappan with the deep spike. Van Gestel digs it out. Her box once again. Delicate touch this time, countered by Thailand. Deep push to the backcourt from close to the net by Belgium. Must go over on this contact. Aicharappan obliges. Pushed over, so now time to set for Thailand, and Aicharappan capitalized, concluding that mega rally with a powerful blast down the sideline.
Much better play this again from Thailand, off of their service as well, and it all stemmed with the first dig that they made, dealing with her bots, and then it was a case of a little bit of recycling. Despite Belgium getting the ball back, the initial dig from Van Gestel didn't go to a position where you could then see Belgium put up a meaningful attack. Good hustle once more by Thailand. And a clever little play, again, getting Belgium out of position, and then finally with the free ball and all their options available, the ball goes off the block of Herbots and out of play for Thailand to take the point. Both teams out of system, both teams negative situation. Eventually, Thailand get it into an in-system position where they could put maximum pressure then on Belgium to find the gap they needed.
So Hathia preparing to serve. Her team are trailing by 2. Overhand reception from her box goes straight over on the first contact. And back-to-back points produced by Aicharappan. Both of them catching the arm of the blocker on the sideline.
That really is textbook volleyball for Thailand and how they want to play once they get the ball back, either by making a dig or getting a free ball over, to then go back and attack the opposition's block. Go after the hands to get those blockouts. 2 points in a row from doing that for them.
So Belgium with the quick thinking. Put the final contact beyond the dive of Nunsara, and they increased their lead to 2 once again after Thailand reduced the 4-point deficit to just 1. Oh, fantastic hitting from the captain, Plunjit. Remember, she hasn't featured all week, having been encouraging and inspiring from the sidelines into the scoring fray here.
Great set by Nunsara. She had to get that ball from the 3-meter line into Plunjit, who was in front of her. Lovely speed of release from her hands to find Plunjit.
So Van Gestel with the service reception. Well, taking evasive action was the libero. Bots with a business-like look about it. She goes prepared to serve.
Another big hit from her again, just aiming for the far corner of the court. Libero making the error of letting that one go.
Good adjustment from Chachuan to receive that serve. The libero with the high set, touched over by Van Gestel. Thailand couldn't control the rebound. Goes out of bounds, and it's point to Belgium.
Van Gestel playing Thailand at their own game. All she was ever looking was to play that ball off the hands and out. See the way she shapes up, that she was trying to play that block out. She did it very well.
That's a thunderous spike from Onuma.
One thing that Sarah does very well, she jumps early as a setter and then tries to fake to see, right, is the middle block jumping with me? If it is, I'll just delay the set and then go out wide. Or if there's no one jumps with her, she jumps early and then goes quickly to the middle. So the setter, Nunsara, has a very good way of trying to get gaps in the block.
Difficult serve for Belgium to deal with once again, but what a turnaround. Taking that point to bring up the 16-point total. We go to technical timeout number 2.
See how Thailand shaping up, but Onuma again didn't take the power angle that was being presented by the movement of Van Gestel. So that spike, even though it got touched by the block, still went into an empty space on the court. ideally, what you want your outside blockers to do is to be ready for the outside attacker. And they see their movement coming in, they plot the line they're running into the net at, and then work out that that's where, when they attack the ball, it's going to cross the plane of the net. And then that's where they want to put their hands to stop where the powerful spike would be. At the same time, try and make sure then that if there is any line available, that, well, the defender will probably go and stand there, will be someone to cover it. But you definitely want to take away the first point, the power that the attacker wants to bring in that situation. If you don't do that, then you're relying on your middle blocker to come and perhaps close that gap. But if they're pinned in the middle by the movement of the other team, then you're in a desperate situation as a defending side.
So Chatron with the service reception and has to touch it over, and rather fortuitously perhaps, rather mild spike has gone out of bounds off the block.
Just where she knew she wanted to play it as close to the antenna as possible, where Van der Wever was waiting with her hand, because it could have caught the antenna. And yeah, she did really well actually. That's a really good play from her, looking for that.
Forceful push from Van Gestel, reverse set from Willevan. Now Belgium are saying that there's no touch, the officials are saying otherwise, and there's confirmation.
It's up to Belgium now to challenge this if they think they didn't touch it. It looked like it did catch the block as it went past. Brilliant. Just say, go on then, challenge if you want. She knows it caught the hands. And no challenge is coming, as we thought there wouldn't be. First official just confirming there is no challenge. We could see, we were fortunate enough to see from our replay that it caught the middle blocker as it went past her. Very important in those situations. The player says to the coach, no, don't challenge, I did touch it. You don't want to waste a challenge needlessly, especially in situations like that where the coach may not have seen it. It goes very quickly. So relying on the players for challenges is really important.
Well, Belgium found themselves pulled out of system there, and there was space all over the court, which Thailand were able to find rather easily.
Incredible that they have done so, considering that was the only available option, but Belgium were at 6s and 7s watching what was going on instead of resetting their block defence the moment the ball had come into Thailand's court. Belgium called the time out. Thailand catching right back up to 16.
3 points without reply is what Thailand had rattled off since the technical timeout was taken. So we are all square, 16 points apiece. So Plumjit preparing to serve. Service reception from her bots. Belgium get themselves back into it. Terrific save by the libero.
Backcourt players played the ball over. It's the opposite player, Grobelna's jumped up to attack this, which she can, but she must take off from behind the white line. You can see where Van Avermaet is, and she's stood on the line, and then she's played it above the height of the net, and it's a fault.
Formation in terms of footwork taking place on the sidelines for Thailand. They've taken the lead. They're stringing together 4 points in a row. They'll look to extend this sequence on the serve of Plumjit. Quick thinking at the net. What a terrific double effort by Nutsara. She got up for the initial block and then rose back up instantly as though on a pogo stick.
She watched it the whole way, and then no one came into cover. Really good blocking, and it shows exactly that she saw the ball into her hands, didn't close her eyes, saw where it went, and then was able to replay it. You see so many times that players go up to block the ball, they're looking at their feet, they turn their head away, they close their eyes, and then they have no clue where it's gone once it hits them or when it goes past them.
Good dig in the backcourt by Plunjit. Oh my goodness, what an absolute calamity between Thailand. Everybody looking at one another, yours, mine, ultimately nobody's. They can see the point.
Nutsara's it was to play, and the reason it was Nutsara's to play is because she was facing the net, she was facing the opposition, she was the one who could have played it over the easiest. The other two had their backs to the net.
Oh, that back-to-back run of points produced by Belgium sees them right back into this opening set. They're all square at 18. Coming together. Seeing Van Gestel overpower Nutsara. Prior to that, Thailand had produced 5 points in a row prior to that brace secured by Belgium. Good overhand reception in the backcourt. And then the put away produced by Van Gestel. 6 points in the match for her now. Belgium go ahead by 1. Timeout has been called by Thailand because their brilliant run, 5 points straight, which saw them go ahead by 2. They're now trailing by a single point deep into this opening set.
Really good touch this by Flamet. She's come in as a substitute, working in the back row, makes a good dig, which enables Belgium to get that ball into an attacking position. And then it's Van Gestel who finds a really good cross-court angle. Flamet's come in for Herbots across the back row. Herbots will be back in once the rotations bring her round to the front.
So Van der Viva, captain, only finding the net with her service attempt. So out of the timeout, Thailand take the first point, and we are all square, 19 points apiece. Sara with the serve. Van Gestel made the service reception, then produced the spike. Second contact here from Willevan, must go over here from the libero. Reverse set. Powerful spike from Van Gestel is turned back. And then it goes to the opposite side of the court, and Grobelner producing the punctuation mark to claim that point for Belgium.
I really don't think Van der Veer had a look through the net in that play to see what was going on, because the middle blocker for Thailand was on the floor and out of action. There was a big hole in the middle of the net here that they could have attacked through, even if it's just a half ball in the middle. But still, on the plus side, it was only ever going to be a one-on-one in that situation, and so Belgium able to put the ball away.
So point to Thailand to even things up at 20.
Once again, the speed of the attack here is what beat Belgium's block.
So a box with a service reception, then raced up the flank to receive the perfectly placed set to claim her 4th point of the match.
Classic swing hitting, make the pass, get out wide, ready to hit. She went a little bit early, used her hang time, and then ripped into the ball.
Good service reception from Willevan. Good dig in the backcourt. It's gone over on the first contact from Belgium, and it went right back in the direction of Van Avermaet, and Thailand take the point. We're all square once again.
Willevan coming in on a second tempo attack in the middle after Janssens wasn't sure exactly what Hataya was doing or where she was going. The speed and misdirection from Thailand claiming that point for them.
Uppercut reception by her bots. That called Van Gestel into play way beyond the sideline. Quick attack by Thailand. Plumjit though sees it come back. But that one didn't. Terrific put away by Willivan. Thailand edge ahead, having taken back-to-back points.
Belgium were guilty of their downfall in that last play. The ball was dug. This is the Willivan getting through another combination play, but the ball was a poor pass from Herbots, and then Van Gestel came in, and instead of just putting up high for Herbots to have a swing, she tried to do something cute, played it behind to the opposite player, Grabelna, but she wasn't in a good position to hit, so they had to volley the ball over, and they lost their opportunity to really put pressure on Thailand and then paid the price because Thailand were able to run a combination play. You're never going to fool anybody by digging the ball halfway across the other side of the court, but what you are going to do is keep pressure on the team by going to your big hitter who's in a good position to have a swing. Even against two blockers, it's fine, because I've already seen Herbots has been able to go over the top of the Thailand block. So a lack of thought, really, in a critical moment to give Thailand the lead.
Well, there was no returning that one, my goodness. An absolute rifle shot of a spike from her bots. 5 points in the match for her now.
High and wide, and in fact the middle block nowhere near her. She had a free swing right into the heart of Thailand's defense. 102 kilometers an hour. Plenty of venom in that.
So the closing stages of this first set, one suspects who can produce back-to-back points to bring up set point. Well, it's Thailand who edge ahead by one. They'll now be looking for set point. What has been a terrifically competitive and entertaining first set so far. Sharapon with 4 points in the game. She's preparing to serve now. Sara's taken a seat on the bench.
Portland's come in, setting replacement.
So Van Gestel with the service reception. Overhand reach by the libero Piernut. Must go over on this contact. Charapon does so. Well, it's back and forth scoring once again as her bots moves to 6 points in the game so far.
Simple stuff from Thailand, just put it high and wide for her bots and let her do her thing. It's up to Thailand to try and stop it. The good thing though for Thailand is Herbots is now in the back row serving, so not quite such a big attack coming from Belgium should they get the ball into transition.
Delicate touch deceives everybody, and it is Thailand who bring up set point. 1 point ahead of Belgium.
Belgium jumping like puppets on strings here, really not sure what was going on, and then as soon as the outside blocker Van Gestel goes up to jump, it's an easy tip over her into the space.
So Willivan with the serve, the libero with the service reception. Ball still alive, desperate defending from Thailand. Plumjit with the touch down the sideline, the libero with the initial contact. And is powered down by Belgium to square things up at 24. They withstand the first set point, and this opening set is going to 2 clear points.
Thailand had a chance, and that may be the only chance they get. It was a really good swing by Grabelna to keep Belgium in this set.
So it's Janssens preparing to serve. All square, Belgium looking for set points. So too, of course, a Thailand, but perhaps an error of execution from the Thai libero has handed the slightest of advantages to Belgium on an unreturnable serve.
That's a brilliant serve from Janssens. She's gone into the channel in between the libero and the outside hitter, and they were unsure who was going to play it. What a turnaround for Belgium. They now have set point.
So Piernut, the libero, with the initial service reception. Ball has gone out wide off the rebound. Athletic recovery from Van der Wever. And hammering that one down is Van Gestel. And it is Belgium who, after surviving set points, cause the yellow tiger flags to flutter in celebration because they have taken the opening set. A terrific turnaround. They lead by 1-0, having taken it by 2 clear points.
Thailand had their chance, they didn't have a swing, they didn't take it, and then Belgium have replied straight away. An ace, a ball in transition, one big heavy swing, and they've got the set, and that's the difference at this level.
Well, Thailand had a real opportunity there. In their 14 VNL matches so far this campaign, they've managed to win the first set on only 3 occasions. There was a real opportunity for them there. They couldn't capitalize. It's Thailand who conceded the first set. Belgium have taken it as we enjoy the highlights from the first set.
Here are the set's statistics. Just the one block, but the one ace. Okay, only one ace, but when did it come? To bring up set point. What a time to get it right at the business end, put up huge pressure then on Thailand, and then off the back of that, with having got themselves their 1 set point chance, they take it by putting the ball into transition. Here are the setter contact points for Thailand. Ideally, you want to be taking the ball at position 3, around about the middle. In fact, that green zone should be moved up a little bit to where the first blue ball is. You don't want to be setting the ball at the very edge of the green here because you've got no room to go anywhere behind you, and especially if you've got 2 players who want to come behind. But generally, in the right spot, look at the middle of that green zone. That's where the ball needs to be passed in order that you can have maximum opportunities to go to all of your attackers and then put big pressure on the block. And that's something Thailand desperately need to do. Just looking at that last set, Thailand have no real power. They can't hit the ball that high. They certainly can't hit it from that high than where Belgium can. So the things that they have to do, the things that they did on occasion, was go up and go, there's the block, block out. There's a space, into the space. Put some spin on the ball, hit quickly, different tempos of attack, and then players moving. We've seen that shoot ball out wide, and then the player come inside to get the second tempo attack. All the time trying to make it difficult for Belgium's block as to know who is going to get the ball. For Belgium, though, pretty simple solution. As we saw, if we do make a dig, if we do get it into transition, high and wide, and let Herbots, let Van Gestel, let Grabelner hit hard on the ball and make it difficult for Thailand.
Well, the contrasting philosophies, perhaps born of the contrasting statures of the athletes on the respective teams, made for a fascinating tussle in the opening set. There was absolutely nothing in it. Thailand didn't take their set point opportunity. When Belgium's came up, they took it. At the first time of asking, they have taken set number 1. It was Thailand to get things underway. And set number 2, overhand reception of the return from the libero. Good dig at the net from Hataya. Libero Gilliams with the initial bump. But just as Clayton pointed out, that is Belgium's ideal attack in a nutshell. High, plenty of time to set, and we've already seen her bots go over 100 kilometers per hour on her spike. This one, not far behind.
It's right over the top of the block, in between where the defenders are standing. Another good swing from the youngster. If Thailand are going to try and get a handle on her bots, they're going to have to try and change their block timing and actually jump later, so they're getting up to a point they may get touches on the ball as it goes past.
They managed to get a touch on that one, Thailand, but they couldn't control the direction of the rebound. It's Belgium who come out of the blocks quickly to begin set number 2.
Numa White by Grabelner. Talk about White sort of wiping it off the block.
Terrific adjustment in the backcourt by Acharapon, keeping her team in the point. And Thailand take the point, do they?
The expression from Janssen says it all. She hasn't found the court.
It's a terrific initial reception because it clipped the net, and Acharapon really had to adjust. Got down low to make that crucial contact to ensure the ball didn't touch the floor. Service error from Chachuan. Well, that's well judged by Thailand. Good communication. Pianat electing to watch it go long. Well, good adjustment ultimately. So Van Gestel was shaping up to play that, but then contorted herself to ensure that no contact was made. As Thailand on trail by 2. Their bots preparing to serve.
Right, it appears we've stumbled onto the Volleyball Nations missing the serve league. Normal service will be resumed pretty shortly, we hope.
3 consecutive service errors. Giving us some seesaw scoring. Now, Onima, if she gets her serve in court, well, it can really put the cat among the pigeons. Dealt with well by Van Gestel. And there was no way that Acharapon was going to be able to hurdle the advertising hoarding and keep her team in the points on that one.
It's a real shame this for Onima because the serve has been missed by the previous person to go round. There's pressure on her. She has to get the serve in, so she can't go at it as hard as she has done in previous games. And it really does reduce her options. Whatever happens, the player before Onima needs to understand that they must get their serve in. So Onima then has license to really put some pressure on when she goes back to serve.
So Thailand back to within 1.
Again, it's a combination play from Thailand that's catching Belgium's block by surprise.
The overhand reception from her bots. Now, getting it over on the second contact, but illegally so.
Yeah, and illegally so because you have to play the ball on your own side of the net. And as the setter's gone up to play that, it was already in Thailand's court, and then she's played it, denying them the opportunity to do so. Have a look at it again. Quite clearly over the net already as it was played.
So Van Gestel with the service reception. And that's well put away by Janssen into the open space of the court. So it was for Janssen, it was Van Avermaet, excuse me. The Belgian captain prepares to serve. So Onima with the service reception. Diving save is effective by Gilliams. Pushed over by Belgium. Gilliams with another good save once again, this time with the overhanded variety. Chachuan couldn't adjust that left hand quickly enough.
Very lazy play that by Chachuan. When you're playing defense, then your arms will be out either side of your body and you bring one to the other. She just left her hand there and tried to, she's calling for a taxi. Really poor defending on what was a very tame swing.
So the high set for Chachuan, my goodness, straight down the sideline, and Van der Wever, well, the ball made contact with her and she was not able to control the contact in any way whatsoever.
Certainly nothing poor about this swing. She meant that venomous swing, real speed as she whips through the ball. And that's gone past the block before they finished and straight into Van Gestel before she saw it. Bridget's the captain. She's a player that's only on court to block attack and then to serve. So when you get those opportunities, serving really must go in.
So we're at the first technical timeout. Belgium are leading by 2.
Just some glimpses of one, the communication that goes on. Just like in any top-level sport, you can't play by not talking to each other. You have to communicate. There's plenty of that going on. And also plenty of movement. One thing I liked, actually, looking at the Thailand substitutes, they're all stood there, and it looks like they're having fun singing and dancing. But the key point is they're moving. They're keeping moving. They're keeping their heart rate up. They're ready to actually come on and play and up to game speed. And that's very important if you've been watching for an hour and then you serve in the net, go, oh, I wasn't ready. It's your job to be ready when you're a substitute.
Charapon, the second leading scorer on her team in this game so far. She's one behind Chachuan, who has 6 clean kills in her 6-point haul. So it's Van Gestel preparing to serve. She's leading all scorers with 9. Service reception from Onuma, then the backcourt spike from Charapun is turned back. Stuff block. It's her bots who got the decisive contact.
Very good leave. There's a call from Onuma to say it's going out. So close though. Coach won't mind that, an aggressive error, going for that baseline, trying to make it difficult.
So Gilliams with the service reception, the libero. Her bots has her spike dug out by Pianut. And the opposite number libero got a hand on that, put away, but couldn't keep it alive with the dig. Chachuan with 7 points in the game so far.
You can just see from that spike and the one earlier to the line why Chachuan has been selected. She's been picked up to go to JT Marvelous in Japan to play her volleyball there next season. One of the top teams in the Japanese league.
Well, Belgium did well to keep themselves in the points initially, but that meant that they were scattered all over the court. The open space was easily found by Thailand.
Herbot's taken out of the action. And a quick ball out wide once again. Chachuan with a fast arm. Getting that just in between the block. Very good swing.
So 3 points in succession for Thailand. Evens this thing up at 9. Sara preparing to serve. Gilliams with the service reception. Her bots with a high swing, well dealt with by Charapun. They get it over with a bump. Her bots, no mistake with the second opportunity.
It was a great dig by Thailand, and then it came up for Nutsara to dig it. Now Nutsara is the setter, she's the person that normally puts the ball into play, but it was taken from her by the libero, and that caused Thailand problems. They weren't able to get a full swing, and they've gifted the point or the ball back to Belgium, who then punished them.
Oh my goodness, it's inbound. An unplayable ace. Thailand electing to leave it. On this occasion, it remained in the confines of the court.
Well, it did look like it was going out. It just dropped like a stone very quickly.
Onuma receives the serve. Fantastic hitting on the opposite side of the court from Chachuan this time. She moves to 9 points in the game so far.
Chachuan is coming into her element here. 4 excellent spikes from her now. She was coming into the cross court, the block took that away, and then she just let the ball drift to hammer it to the line. Very good spike.
Flips the net corner, Bots puts it over on the first contact, and that was pounced upon by Thailand, who even things up at 11 points apiece.
A bit frustrating, that play for Bernadette. She's back row, so she couldn't go in and get up to the net to block. She was then left standing as it was placed to the other side of her. well to get frustrated, but he is at the moment. Van der Broek. The girls know he's not happy.
Chachuan serving. An error on that attempted overhead from Grabelner. To her own side of the net, and it's Thailand who edge ahead by one. Another run of 3 unanswered points.
As a coach, it's really important in that kind of situation not to let your emotions show. You may well be frustrated that a player's just made a mistake, but the players are not going into this to make mistakes. They're not purposefully trying to make errors. So as a coach, you've got to let it ride. That's unfortunate for Van Gestel. She's gone to play that, and her head's come back, and her shoulders have come back, and then she's quite weak instead of just keeping her shoulders fixed and playing the ball. And quite frankly, Belgium coach really no choice but to call the timeout. Very calm that time. Oh, yeah, good Van der Broek, and that's really important. You want to get a message across. Players listening to everything that's being said, go back on and try and get the job done.
So Chachuan serving, 9 points in the game so far for her. Gone over on the first contact and out of bounds. Her box couldn't deal with that one at all, and it's an ace to bring up double digits in scoring for Chachuan.
It's not too much of a problem for her bots going off. She's been doing that anyway. Flamet coming in to replace her. Very good serve it was, though, for Thailand.
Well dug out by Pianut. The set from Nutsara, and what a finish from Aicharapun. 6 points in the match for her now, all of them on clean kills. And that is 6 points in a row for Thailand to eke out this 4-point lead.
There's a miss hit initially through the middle by Belgium, which allowed Thailand to get the ball into transition.
An error of judgment sees another unreturnable serve get notched up for Thailand, and it brings up the second technical timeout. And they have a 5-point cushion at this juncture.
It's an incredible game at times when you think that player for player, Belgium out-jump, out-hit, out-block, and can outplay. But right now, mentally, Thailand are the strongest team, and Belgium don't seem to have any answers. It's all come about, really. Chachuan, with her 6 points, has made a huge impact in this second set, having been the go-to player. And that's really good to see, no matter what the score is, actually, for Thailand. They're always smiling, they're always enjoying it. They never appear to be under any pressure by the coach. They just play, and they play to the best of their ability. So 6 points in succession for Thailand, giving them this lead. Terrific dig by Nutsara. Pianut bumps it over on the final contact. Blocking at the net from Thailand causes Belgium to readjust. The set from Gilliams, and then another block. What a save, but it's in vain from Flamand. And this run of points without reply from Thailand continues. Has gone off. Doesn't seem to be anything that Belgium can do right now to stem this flow of points.
Overhand reception from Van Gestel was a difficult one. And finally, Belgium get themselves a point on the board and close the gap to 5.
The referee is saying here that it's an illegal block by Belgium and that they've played this ball on the side of Thailand as the backcourt setter Nusara goes up to play this. Well, she's not touched anything. So actually, they may challenge that because she didn't actually touch the ball. I guess the referee could argue that she's interfered with Nusara trying to set the ball. But normally you'd only call that if you actually play the ball on the opponent's side.
So Rocharia with the serve. The 6-point lead is short-lived. Belgium claim the point to reduce the deficit to 5. So into the final third of this second set. Really, Belgium will be looking to produce a run of points similar to what Thailand did. To go from all square 10, excuse me, from 11-9 down to then edge ahead by 6 at 17-11. Service error won't do Belgium's cause any good. Clement only finding the net. Thailand restored their 6-point lead. Oliver really aggressive on that jump spike serve, dealt with by the libero. Now Thailand with time to set, quick attack. Attempted by Plumjit, but Belgium were wise to it. Sneaky play from Thailand to get it over on the second contact. Then a block sends Belgium scrambling. They get it back over. Thailand with time to set once again. Well dealt with. The libero, Niet, keeps it in play. It's bumped over high and handsome. And then a decisive touch through the middle from Aicharapon. Sees Thailand prevail in that mega rally. And the tambourines are producing the most glorious sound up in the stands here for their supporters.
Onuma, big serve from her. But options here for Belgium. They decide to run the pipe. A little bit of luck as it catches the net and allows Thailand to get it into transition. Then both teams out of system, giving each other one free ball after another. As neither team could get full control of the ball. It's free ball back for Thailand. They look to run a little combination, and that's chased down. But still, at this point, Thailand on the front foot. Another free ball opportunity. And this time, a little tip through the middle gets the job done.
So Thailand now enjoying their largest lead of this second set. It currently stands at 7, and they are just 5 points away from taking it. So Belgium have got to make their move now. Rally scoring, of course, they really don't have much road in which to maneuver. And they are dealing with the bullet jump spike serve of Onuma. The 7-point cushion, she really went for it. Well dealt with by Belgium. And they get her off serve by claiming the point.
Janssens couldn't hit it hard, but she was up in the right place on the slide behind, just tipping it over, playing it off of the block at the same time, just using the ball's momentum to carry it on over the net.
Well dug out serve by Chachuan. Onuma with a rapid arm, and it gets the deflection off the Belgian blocker at the net. And Thailand in a really commanding position here. They restore their 7-point lead.
Van Sass has come in for Belgium to take over setting duties from Van der Veeve. As Van der Broek was his last throw of the dice, but that's been quickly reversed, so it's more of a blocking substitution for Van Sass, which has gone straight back off again.
So Van Gestel with the service reception, then she's coming head-to-head at the net with Thailand. Towering block. Sees Thailand forced to recover. Oh, that is sensational. And you don't have to ask who it is. It's Chachuan once again with laser-like accuracy down the sidelines. And she takes Thailand closer to the winning total.
First referee gave it as in. He's saying, well, I can see that it's in. If you want to, you can challenge. And that's exactly what Belgium have done. They will be clutching at straws here. It was a very fast swing to the line. Was it in? Well, that's a great call by Belgium to challenge.
And Thailand were convinced that it was their point from the outset. They're not challenging to see whether there was a touch at the net, so the challenge is a successful one. Belgium back to within 6. Chachuan with the service reception, the backcourt put over from Aicharapun. And then a big pile driving put away from Van Gestel takes her to double digits in scoring. 10 clean kills for Van Gestel now. And Thailand will want to wrestle the serve back and claim the point as quickly as possible because Belgium are chipping away here. Timeout taken by Thailand. Service reception by Chachuan. Backcourt spike by Aicharapun. He's dug out by Van der Wever. Oh, what a block at the net. Plumjit, the team captain and the team's leading blocker, turning that one back into the vacant space on court.
That's across the net early. Ball goes straight down. Good work by Chachuan. Plumjit and Chachuan combining together. It came off of Chachuan. Plumjit it was who closed that cross-court gap as well.
So net with the service reception. Thailand have to push it over. The reverse set. Going for the cross-court is Chachuan. She finds the angle to, well, no, she doesn't find the angle, excuse me. Point to Belgium.
So Belgium, whilst they're trying to block that ball, touch the net. Or there's a foot fault here from Belgium, more likely the net fault. As the players go up, catching the net with a knee on the way down.
So looking to bring up set point here, Thailand.
Good consistency from the first referee. He blew Belgium for that earlier on as the ball went tight to the net and the setter went to play it, and now he's penalised Thailand for the same thing. And that's all you want from the referee. That did look as if it was played by Van Gestel on to Thailand's block. Point being, he's made the same decision for both teams, so there can be no arguments over the decision as a whole.
Peanut with the service reception, the libero. Onima with a fast arm. That brings a good save from Van Avermeer. Backcourt spike. What a save by Peanut. Desperate scrambling, but it couldn't be backed up by Chachuan. Peanut got a piece of it, but couldn't control the direction. And Belgium closed to within 4.
Good pick up, but then with the defender at 6 out of the action, it was the defender then, Nutsara, who couldn't go and get it. Chachua having to run from the net, was never going to get it.
Oh, how about that from Chachuan? That is sensational. Like a cat on hot bricks, just bouncing up repeatedly, and she brings up set points with her 13th point of the match and her 10th clean kill. Terrific save by Pianut, the libero. Onuma puts it over. The reverse set, hammered down, and the point claimed by Belgium. They withstand the first set point.
Pretty good chase, that's what the libero's there for. Certainly adds to the spectacle of the game, and that's a good cut across the court from Grabelna.
Grabelna with the serve, still set point Thailand. And Charapon, having made the service reception, terrific reflexes from Pianut once again. That one long by a proverbial country mile from Onuma. And 2 set points survived by Belgium. They edge back to within 3. And the Thailand coach has called for timeout.
Onuma caught between going block out, trying to roll it, ended up doing neither.
So good, Van der Broek. He would have adjusted his tactics as well, remember. Thailand had set point in the first set. Couldn't convert. Can they do so here? Pianut, the libero, with the reception. It's a big, wide set. Pianut then called into action once again as the ball comes back. Onuma puts it over. Belgium reorganize. And Charapon sees her. Spike blocked, and it's a push down to close the gap further. Belgium back to within 2. Thailand, well, they're going to have to stay in the moment and keep their concentration here.
Great work by Janssens. Didn't touch the net, made the block, stayed focused.
Grabelna preparing to serve. 8 points in the match for her so far. Still set point Thailand. Terrific blocking at the net. Belgium with quick reflexes reorganized quickly. Pushed over by Flement. Good dig in the backcourt by Van Gestel. Oh, what a swing, and it's straight down the sidelines and in court from Flement. Her first point of the game. And this run of unanswered points from Belgium continues. They are trailing by just 1. And again, they're going to be looking to force a 2 clear point second set.
This is a brilliant swing from Clement. She's come on to replace Herbots in the back row, primarily for her passing. She's come into the front row, stayed on court, and she's keeping Belgium in it.
Grabelna with the serve, Willevan with the service reception. Charapon closes out the second set for Thailand. We are now all square at 1 set apiece, but my goodness, didn't Belgium battle brilliantly. When Thailand brought about set points, Belgium were trailing by 5, but they rattled off 5 points in a row, 4 points in a row to close to within 1. But finally, Thailand take their set point opportunity, 25-23 in the final analysis. And we are now all square at 1 set apiece.
One thing's for sure, Belgium have just got plenty of momentum to take into this third set. The decision for head coach Gert van der Broek is whether or not he keeps Flamens on or whether she goes back to the bench, having done a good job, and Herbots comes in. We'll find out shortly. For now, though, here are the highlights from the set. Fans very much enjoying their time here watching the volleyball. Not only the Italian fans watching Italy, but also getting the opportunity to watch world-class volleyball. Getting to see Thailand, Belgium, and of course Brazil. Chachuan, the player of the moment for Thailand. Will be looking to keep adding to her points tally. Keeps her place on court after coming in towards the end of the second set.
So it's Belgium who will get set number 3 underway. Thailand will be delighted having taken the second set, but Belgium concluded so strongly. Taking that momentum to begin set number 3. They take the first point.
Verbots back into the action for Belgium. Flamet back to the bench, having done her job. Very good view from the back of the court. You can see how the ball started out straight, then just drifted wide away from the sideline. Used to be with the old design of the volleyball that the valve, just being a little bit heavier, could dictate where the ball would go, and players would either put it on the top to make it rise, on the bottom to make it drop, left and right and so on. But with the new design of the volleyball now, with the new panelling and the dimpling that's on it, it gives a much truer flight, and so the valve really doesn't have any impact on what you're doing when you're serving a float serve.
And as another global sporting event gets underway today, the Football World Cup, do the designs of the volleyballs change every few years? Fans of a certain age will remember the Adidas Tango ball, and that had paneling in a certain direction, then we moved to another brand and different style of panelings. Is that happening in volleyball?
It certainly has. The volleyball used to be white, all white, and it was like a football type design with the paneling that was on it. Then it changed to a white, yellow and blue, again with stripes, and now we have this design which is completely different and with dimples on it to give a truer flight and speed. And there may well be another design coming, but that can't happen though until after the next Olympic Games, because that needs to be, the teams need to have plenty of time to get used to a new volleyball. So any change would be post 2020.
So it's back and forth scoring to begin this third set. Absolutely nothing in it on the scoreboard right now. All the ones and all the threes on both sides of the box score. Robots racing up to that one, pushing it over with her front hand ultimately. Overhand reception in the backcourt from Grabelna. Then her box with a mighty swing, and it's deflected at the net from Thailand, goes out of bounds, but it is point to Belgium. They lead by 1.
Almost unplayable, nothing much you could do. Onuma trying to go up, gets a touch, but only to see Belgium still get the point. And that's what Herbots can do. But that is exactly what Thailand can do. Just such good pace, and it's that speed. You blink and you miss it. And that's what they have to do. But all of that relies on a really good pass in, which they had. So Nutsara had the opportunity to play that second tempo after Plumchin had taken the block one way, and then they come in on the second tempo to put the ball down.
So Onuma with a score all square. Launches her serve, less speed than we've seen previously, and she puts it just beyond the baseline. So not able to make an impact with it on this occasion. Usually it's such a prominent part of Thailand's scoring armoury. The service reception was a difficult one for Thailand. It results in an unreturnable serve.
Not great technique that time by Chachuan as she comes at this. She's gone down and then come up to the ball, but her arms are right down by her knees. There's a good distance between her head and her hands. You really want to see the ball all the way onto your arms and have your platform set very early. Another mistake again, same thing from Chachuan with her serve receive, which is giving Belgium an opportunity here. However, free ball for Thailand, they could get their side out.
Through the captain, Plumjit. So Thailand close the deficit to just 1.
Fast ball shot through to the middle. Plumjit to put it on the floor.
So Charapan preparing to serve. 11 points in the game so far. Second leading scorer for Thailand. 10 clean kills and a block. Bangesta with the service reception. And the block unsuccessful for Thailand. Grabelna with the point. Take Belgium ahead by 2 once again.
See the middle blocker just trying to get out wide, go moving laterally and not getting hands above the net in any way, shape or form.
Good adjustment from Plumjit after the serve caught the net cord. And the put away deflected out of bounds off a Belgian defender, Belgian blocker. So it is point to Thailand, back to within 1. And well, have to recall this is a lengthy tournament. And if the match continues in this vein, then conditioning really going to be coming to the fore from both teams.
Well, the adrenaline will be pumping, they will be getting tired, but they are supreme athletes. They are used to this level of competition. And what the coaches do have the opportunity to do is to bring in some of the substitutes if a player is flagging.
But this is week 5 of round-robin action as Belgium arrive at the 8-point total to bring up the first technical timeout. These athletes competing in their 15th round-robin encounter through 5 weeks of play all over the world. It really is a global sporting occasion. We're witnessing the best in the world at what they do. These teams in particular have produced the most magnificent spectacle. Thailand were a host nation for 2 weeks in succession. Able to produce a home victory on home soil in Bangkok in week 3, then at the Korat Chachai Hall in week 4. My goodness, with a good value, and the fans there made it such a wonderful atmosphere. Despite having played their part, able to secure a win. Way back in week 2, Thailand, they'll be looking to address that today. They're very much in this one. They're trailing by 2 points in set number 3. It's all square at 1 set apiece. Now down by 3 after Aicharapan couldn't control the direction of that spike. Saved by Van Gestel on the service reception. Well,
wasn't a good spike.
Was that Grabelna got that all wrong?
She did get it very wrong, and she's umming and ahhing as to whether or not it caught the block, and she's saying it went nowhere near her. Grabelna wasn't really sure, and they have challenged by the looks of things as to whether it caught the block. As Grabelna jumped for that, she was falling to her left. Wasn't in a good position to have the swing, but nonetheless still tried to get a point from it instead of just putting it in play. If you can't hit it hard and you want to put it in play, you want to put it in play with a side spin on it instead of a top spin. Put top spin on the ball, it's really easy to play with. If you put a side spin on the ball and you don't judge that as a player, it's going to come off your arms in the wrong way. It won't go forwards, it'll go sideways, left or right. And as an attacker, to get side spin, if you want to hit side spin You want to hit it around about 3 o'clock or 9 o'clock if you look at it as a clock face, and that way you'll get the spin you want. Or think of it as well as thumb down or thumb up as you hit the ball. You can see that one didn't touch the block. And it's Thailand will take the point.
So Thailand close to within 1, trailed by as many as 3. Sara prepares to serve. And Gester with the overhand service reception. Cross-court spike from Janssens is dealt with. Diving save in the backcourt by Grabelner. Now it's going to be a backcourt put over by her bots. Charapun digs it out. Onema with the deep blast. And it's point to Thailand now. Are Belgium thinking of launching a challenge here? Point has been awarded to Thailand to tie things up at 9. But Belgium appear to be celebrating as well.
It's not found the court. Belgium believe it didn't touch their hands, but they're not complaining because it's been given against them.
Oh, sideline spike is sensational from Janssens. Chachuan unable to dig it out.
Nice slide behind, off the 1 foot, straight down the line. Big swing, nice point for Belgium.
So Van Gestel with the serve. Difficult service reception from Chachuan. Onema with a rapid arm. And yet the libero keeps that one in play. Oh, clever play, but she couldn't control her body. I think she's made contact with the net. That's what Laszlo Adler is intimating as well. So we are all square at 10. Overhand reception from Janssens. Wonderful recovery from her box, but Thailand with plenty of time, and that's the result. Charapun thundering down her 11th clean kill of the game.
Great combination play, and she's got a free swing in the middle of the net.
Belgium did well to keep themselves in that point for the length of time that they did. It was her bots who got down low and somehow got beneath the volleyball. So the score should be 11-10 to Thailand as Chachuan makes that dig and then caught into action from the backcourt. Her bots bumps it up. Backcourt spike from Grabelner goes straight down the center line, and Thailand unable to make contact. And we are all square, but the score should be 11-11, and now it is.
Big hard hit through the middle. And even with Thailand trying to get 2 blockers in, that looked to have actually gone through the arms of Wacharia.
So Charapun with the service reception, then called into play on the spike. Diving save, keeps it alive from Van Gestel. Thailand keep themselves in it. Onema sees her spike time turn back. Clever touch is a delicate one from Charapun. Her bots going down the sideline. Now, was it touched? No, it wasn't, and it was out of court. So the point goes to Thailand. They edge ahead by 1.
It's a mega rally that ends with an unforced error. But surprised it didn't end earlier on when the ball was dug and that wasn't given as a double touch. Quite frankly, it was a quadruple touch by the setter, Van der Veer, but the setters do get a little bit of leeway, it must be said at times, and it has produced this mega rally as a result. But then Herbots, who's just had a little look to her setter to say, I want that ball higher, and that's not the response because she's not taken responsibility for her error. If you tell the setter the ball wasn't high enough or it was too far inside, then you're never going to get better as a player. You need to accept that you're the one that made the mistake, and what have you got to do to make it right next time?
Overhand reception. Now on this occasion, ball out of court once again. So it's back-to-back points secured by Thailand to edge them ahead by 2. They're all square. 11-all. It's Thailand who have taken the last 2 points after Belgian spikes have been out of court. So Belgium break that brace of back-to-back points that Thailand created.
Nice high set, easy for Herbots to use the block.
Van der Viva with the serve. It's a flat one that sends Chachuan sprawling. Piernut with the high bump. Onima, too much power on that free swing. Belgian block goes out of bounds.
Even though Chachuan's gone to the floor, it doesn't matter. She put a good ball in. It still gives Thailand plenty of hitting options. It's Onima who gets the block out.
So Belgium have called timeout. They're currently trailing by 2. So the numbers through this current set for Janssens. In every category, Onima prepares to serve. She get the jump spike rocket correct on this occasion. Just out of bounds. Fine margins at this level of the sport. It's just gone to the wrong side of the court markings from Thailand's point of view. Belgium are back to within 1. Oh my goodness, well, Chachuan having difficulty with that service reception. She elected to go overhanded and it just deflected off her fingers.
It's a very good serve. It did look like it was going to be going long. It's dropped very late. It's actually come down onto her shoulder. See where that's dropping, and it would have dropped in. Really good serve. She nearly lost the ball then, Herbots.
Chachuan called into action once again, this time in the opposite direction. The point put away effectively by Aicharapan. The edge ahead by 1.
The net is moving, and that ball was put down by Aicharapan, and she then hit the net. The question is whether she hit the net before the ball hit the floor. No arguments coming from the other side, which suggests the ball was already down. The serve that flirts with that baseline for Thailand. They may well challenge this one. Indeed they have. They think this one was in. Challenge system is a really good system because we're going to be able to see now whether the ball was in or out. What the effect of the challenge system has done is there's a camera now that looks down the sidelines and down the baselines. Well, that used to be where the referee, the line judges used to stand. They would stand looking down that line, but now they have to stand out of the way of the camera, and they have to, oh my goodness me, look at that! Come on, you've got to be kidding. Wow. Well, in is in.
Indeed. Hawkeye indeed. Terrific challenge from Thailand. They claim the point, arrive at the 16-point total to take us into the second technical timeout. Never in doubt, really, was it?
They saw it all the way. Well, I was talking about the line judges, because they're stood at an angle, actually, it probably was very difficult to have seen that because of the angle they're at, because the cameras are now taking up that position. But that being said, they've done their job.
Second set that Thailand ultimately secured. They arrived at the 16-point total for this second technical timeout with a 5-point margin of advantage. It's a far tighter affair here in set number 3. Belgium arrived at this juncture in set number 1 with a 3-point cushion, so it's been extremely close all the way through. I wouldn't be surprised if this went to a 5-set distance. Very little between the teams through this period of play. Approaching 90 minutes on court now as we emerge from the second technical timeout. Charapan with the serve, and yet the libero with the service reception. Must go over on this contact. Well dug out by Chachuan. Pianut, the libero, with the set. Good dig in the backcourt from her box, and then she comes flying in from behind the 3-meter attack line to bring her team back to within 1.
Herbots it was who made the dig and then is able to follow it up on the pipe attack. Caught the Thai defender as it went out.
So Lemons with the serve, and the deflection off the net court produces an ace, and we are all square at 16 points apiece.
Not much you can do about it when it hits the net. Could have gone anywhere.
End up with the service reception. Well put away beyond the outstretched reach of the server Lemons. Thailand edge ahead by 1 once again.
The speed of the attack is what has given Thailand the point.
Oh, that is amazing. Straight down the sideline. Fantastic accuracy from Van Gestel.
High and wide, options to go cross court. Sees she has the line and puts it right into the corner. That's perfect.
Belgium a little bit disorganized there, got taken out of system. Oh, but what a block at the net. Towering play. Ties things up. Brings Belgium, forces Thailand to take a timeout. Italian tricolore is beginning to be waved here. No mistake, these knowledgeable fans, this passionate volleyball nation, enjoying the spectacle that they're witnessing here. Thailand fans that their team have a real opportunity to end their losing streak. Good reflexes at the net from Wacharia. Scrambling save by Van der Viva. Must go over on this contact. Oh, that is extraordinary. They get it down the sidelines, and it was Belgium who appeared to be on the back foot.
Van Gestel waiting for this one. She got herself in a good position. And she's able to use her peripheral vision to see she's got that space next to the block to go down the line.
So quite a turnaround here. Belgium leading by 2. The backcourt spike is sensational. Plenty of decoy action at the net from Thailand. Conclusion provided by Charapan.
So Van der Viva not getting in front of a Charapan, giving her a free swing as a result.
Delicate touch, well saved by Van Gestel. Belgium kept it off the floor initially, but we are all square at 19, my goodness. Well, this is absolutely terrific competition here in southern Italy. This one's still very much in the balance. Nothing between these two sides deep into this third set. Pon preparing to serve. Overhanded reception from Van Gestel. Then a spike at the front court. The deflection carries it out of bounds. Belgium who edge ahead by 1.
Looking for the angle cross court, which he finds with a little bit of help from the net. Chachuan couldn't react quickly enough.
So Van Gestel serving. Well dug out by Chachuan. Onima sees her high-speed spike come back. Reverse set is pushed deep into the backcourt. Oh, that is an absolute hammer blow from her bots. 15 points in the game for her now. 12 clean kills and a 2-point cushion. Means that Belgium are just 4 points away from taking this third set.
It was a decent pass off of a tough serve from Thailand, but Belgium get it into transition play, and then once again Herbots is able to get past the block with relative ease.
Energetic work cheering your team on. Belgium don't have many fans in the house, but the ones who have made their way here witnessed some terrific action. Their bots leading their team in scoring with 15 for the game. Sensational save by the libero Niet. And then the put away secured by Belgium, who are executing magnificently in the closing stages. That is 3 points without reply now. And they have a 3-point lead.
Great pickup, job done. And then another exuberant celebration from Herbots. She's doing a lot of work as it is. Just doesn't want to over-rev in that department and waste energy.
So Van Gestel with the serve. Backcourt spike from Acharapon. Find the space on court. Thailand back to within 2.
And one of the only teams that run that particular play, a 50, as it is called, where the spiker in the back row is on the right-hand side at position 5 attacking. Normally, you run a pipe attack, which is through the middle, or a 10, which is over on the right-hand side near where the setter is setting from.
So the reverse set. Backcourt spike is a point-winning play from Grabelna. Belgium will now look to bring up set point. 3-point cushion.
Set by Van der Winter finds Grabelna.
So Janssens with the serve, and Charapon with the service reception, then the spike. Overhand reception in the backcourt from Grabelna. Her bots with a swing, it's deflected out of bounds, and Belgium secures set point with a 4-point margin of advantage.
Gert van der Broek is living every moment of each point right now. As the ball was made and put into transition, they got their pass, he was there, and then as the ball was put on the floor, he was celebrating as well.
Diving save by the libero, goes over on the first contact. And Belgium take the set at the first time of asking. The Yellow Tigers fans are celebrating here in southern Italy because having conceded set number 2, Belgium bounced back and now lead by 2 sets to 1 having taken set number 3, 25 points to 20.
This is how it was done, and if there's any doubt as to how much this means for the players, then you can see quite clearly how much this means for her bots. Once this ball goes down, what it means to her, what it means to the team. They want to win this game, there is no doubt about that. Real intent about the put away and the celebration to go with it. And also the coach absolutely loving it.
So that is how things stand here. Approaching 1 hour and 40 minutes on court. It's Belgium who lead by 2 sets to 1. Here are the highlights from that exciting third set.
Statistically speaking, about that last set, not that much in it. Belgium out-spiking Thailand by 3. They've got a couple of extra blocks, then a couple of extra serves, and take away the errors they made by 3. That gave us the 5-point difference. This is where Belgium were putting their spikes in that last set. The red ones didn't come back, the blue ones were dug. This is where they were in the third set. It was the wonderful swing from Van Gestel down into that line we saw earlier in the match. Herbots right now is the big hitter for Belgium, but just looking at the stats across the board, Van der Veer has been spreading the play very well. Van Gestel has 15, Babelner has 11, and Janssens through the middle also has 12 points. So that means there's plenty of threat as Mazzanti has a look on. The Italian head coach will be in action shortly as his team prepare to take on Brazil. But what Van der Veer's doing is she's making it so difficult for Thailand to know who's going to get the ball by using her options. Not just relying on one player the whole time.
So set number 4 about to get underway. Sarah serving. Sends Van Gestel to the court to dig that one out. That's reciprocated on the other side by the libero, Pierna. Diving save in the backcourt by Van Gestel once again. Grabelna mildly puts it over the net. Delicate touch from Aicharapan. Lengthy rally this one. Herbots tried to settle it, and I feel she does because the rebound on the block went just out of bounds, but Herbots will take it.
Great start for Belgium, just what they wanted to keep their confidence going after their emphatic end to the last set.
Pierna, the libero, with the service reception. And Belgium playing brilliantly now, a tandem of players producing an unbreachable blocking wall. And they take a 2-point lead in this fourth set.
Lemons made the block coming into the action in this fourth set. Great start for her. That's her second point.
So So Robots with the serve. Pianut, the libero, receives serve. And this time the block effective once again. It's Lemons who is the athlete who with perfect timing and terrific penetration causes the ball to land inbounds. 3 points to nothing. 2 of those points coming on clean stuff blocks.
That's exactly what she's there for. Middle blocker is what she's called. Squimarish is didn't see that one. He's just having a look at the social media, checking out what's happening around the VNL, no doubt.
Well, that's well put away by Hataya. Thailand get their first point on the board.
Ball off of a good pass, and then a very quick ball into the middle before Belgium can get their block organised.
So Chachuan with the serve. Van Gestel receives and puts it over. Chachuan digs it out. Turned back again by a brilliant block from Lemons. But the deceptive play from Thailand is effective. Close to within 1.
Van der Broek won't be very happy with this because Willevans just volleyed it over, standing. It's gone a long way and no one's been quick to react to it.
So the floor cleaning crew doing a terrific job here. A number of the army of volunteers so crucial to ensuring that volleyball tournaments run smoothly. Keeping that playing area in pristine condition. And yet the libero digs out the serve. Lemons tried to push it over forcefully, but she just pushed it straight out of bounds.
Decent ball in, goes on the shoot ball, but Lemons didn't get herself up in the air properly, and then swiping at it, doesn't get a good contact.
Overhand reception from Van Gestel, then tries to push it over, and she's not found the playing area that she wanted to, only finding the net. So a few errors of execution creeping into Belgium's play here after starting the 4th set so brilliantly, particularly in the blocking department. Thailand have taken 4 straight points to edge ahead by 1, their first lead of this 4th set. Block from Thailand, ball remains in play. Reverse set from Van Gestel's an acrobatic one. Good dig in the backcourt from Nutsara. Then the backcourt spike, extraordinary. Splitting the seam of blockers and then dipping before the brace of defenders in the backcourt.
The Broke's seen enough, he's called the timeout. Very good swing this. Chachuan to get into the gap between the 2 blockers.
Well, Belgium started this 4th set brilliantly, but what a response from Thailand. 5 points in succession. They now lead by 2. And really, the action we've seen so far, typical of the entire match. Put over from the backcourt. Oh, brilliant block at the net. Icharapon in position. And turning that one back beyond the despairing dive.
Great timing in the block from Icharapon. Went a little bit later. Gets her hands across the net. Van Gestel can't keep it in play.
Well, a service error from Chachuan, handing the point to Belgium. But that was 6 points in a row for Thailand to edge them ahead by 3. Belgium claw back the deficit to just 2. Well dug out by Chachuan. Getting down low is Nutsara. Is pushed over rather gently. And that is why Grabelna had all kind of time to get herself in perfect position for that ideally placed set.
Thailand's block not getting across the net, still moving laterally was Hataya. That's why it's gone off her hands and away.
Rapid swing from Willivan. Belgium do well to keep themselves in the point. Oh, how about that? Terrific spike straight down the center. Again, the quick play of Thailand evident once more.
It's another combination attack from Thailand. They get the free ball, they put it right onto the setter's head. Janssens has to go with the middle, and then coming over the top at Charapon with no block to have to deal with.
So Hataya preparing to serve, having provided that decoy on the previous point secured by Thailand. This time the Thai blocking ineffective, coming down on their own side of the court, and Belgium are back to within one. Pianut did well to dig out the block that came back quickly, but my goodness, Chachuan couldn't get out of the way of that one. Powerful swing on the spike, but the Belgian blockers jumping in unison and timing their leap perfectly.
Janssens knew exactly where it was going, got out early, and then was able to make sure the ball didn't come over. And it's an ace serve for Belgium off the back of that. That's a big point for them. Puts them right back in this set.
Oh, 3 points in a row. Sees them overturn a 2-point deficit. Bring up the first technical timeout with a 1-point lead.
For as good as Thailand have been so far with all their combination plays, one thing that they've done every single time they've run a combination, particularly in the middle of a rally, is they've always gone to the second tempo attack. And Janssens and whoever else is middle blocking at the moment, whether it's Lemons is blocking as well, whoever's going to come in, has to be realised that stop going with the first tempo in transition, because you're not going to, it's not going to happen. Wait and just go with the second tempo. Force the setter to go back to the first tempo instead of being taken by it each time and allowing these wonderful attacks against no block.
That's well put away. Mujik climbing high to produce that clean kill.
Well, this is where Nutsara has gone first tempo, inside out, off the back of a serve, but she's more often than not gone on her second tempo attack once the game's got into a rally. That's a great retrieve.
So Pianut. Oh, that's terrific hitting. Chachuan ultimately producing the point with that deep spike.
Chachuan this time off the back of a really good chase, and then Van der Veever's trying to get out. She's gone and helped out in the middle because she knows there's only two front court attackers, but once again Thailand running that 50, and this time Chachuan having no block to deal with.
Well, it's Belgium who take the point to square things up at 9. Scoreboard in this fourth set. Good recovery by Pianut. She's put it over. Jousting at the net. What a save in the backcourt by Grabelna. Belgium reorganized, kicked over and out of bounds. Well, Belgium recovered magnificently. Grabelna kept them in the point, and ultimately they take it. They edge ahead by 1.
Really well played by Grabelna to keep the ball in play, and then despite the best efforts, with a little bit of footy, the ball doesn't stay in, and it's Belgium who take the point.
So well judged by Thailand. The service error sees us all square on the scoreboard. 10 points apiece here in set number 4. Robots with another point-winning kill. 20 points in the match for her now. One of 4 Belgian players into double figures, and when you consider in straight sets defeats against Italy yesterday, it was only Marlies Janssens who registered double figures in scoring with her 13-point total. Oh, Pianut just put it 6s and 7s as she attempted to receive that serve. Gone way into the expensive seats here.
It's the pace of this serve that causes problems. No time at all for Pianut to react, and then as she tries to get to the ball, it turns her. She ends up facing where it went, into the crowd.
Well, the fans here having a terrific time. They're witnessing volleyball of the highest caliber. Only enjoying the spectacle of some magnificent athletes, but the competition is fantastic as well. Everything to be fought for between these two teams. Quick adjustment. Thailand scramble to get it over, and they keep themselves in the point. Must go over on this contact. Pianut obliges. But now, oh my goodness, Belgium with time to set. A hand of apology proffered by her bots, but she moves to 21 points in the game on that, her 17th clean kill, and that one was an absolute rocket.
Suspicion there might have been a net touch in that block, but no challenge coming mid-rally. Then her bots just finishes it off. A good sporting spirit from her to go and apologise to Chachuan for catching her in the face.
Well, in the context of this match, a 4-point lead after that unreturnable serve from Janssens is pretty significant. 4 points in a row for Belgium. Seen them edge ahead to this eventuality. Thailand have been terrific at responding in the past. They're going to have to do so now if they to prevent Belgium from running away with this one. Remember, it's the set in which they hope to conclude proceedings here. Make it 5 points without reply now for Belgium.
Thailand have just gone off the boil a little bit here.
Up with the reception, almost over on the first contact, but that's a terrific reaction at the net by the setter, and it brought her teammate into play, and Plumjit was able to put it away.
Pompan reaching as high as she possibly could to get a hand on it. Plumjit coming in to make sure it was put down, and now she gets to go and serve.
Service out, you see the shoulders sag a little bit from the Thailand captain. Belgium bring up 16 points. It's the second technical timeout. And their margin of advantage is 5 points on the scoreboard.
save from Portman, which ultimately she could only actually go to the middle. And Lemons was just a little slow to react, but Herbots was nowhere to be seen. Herbots really needs to be helping out there with that middle attack and try and block it. Just goes to show the time pressure you're under at the net. You've got so little time to make your mind up as to what's happening. That's why serving is key to this sport, in that you have to serve as tough as possible to give your blockers more time to know what's going on by reducing the attacking options of the team receiving serve. Jewellery is okay, you're allowed to wear jewellery, so long as it's for the women playing. You'll see they've got earrings in, and as long as they're not dangly earrings, nothing that can get caught up in the net. And sometimes the referees may have a word with them, and things like chains and so on, net chains, but no problem wearing rings and what have you.
Good adjustment at the net from Hataya to ultimately receive the serve in the front court. Willivan sets up the set from the libero Pianut. Quick contact, and it's an effective play. Hataya producing the kill, putting it over on the second contact.
Set from Portman, nice and quick to the middle, catching Belgium by surprise.
Gestel with the service reception. Herbots with a big swing, and Thailand can't control the block. It goes out of bounds. Belgium restore their 5-point lead.
Another big swing from Herbots, just as good on the right-hand side as she is on the left-hand side of court.
Herbots serving now. Oh, and it's an unreturnable serve straight into that channel of uncertainty between the two Thailand players. Neither elected to play it, and the ball landed inbound by some distance. It's the largest lead of the fourth set for Belgium. Timeout has been called.
Exactly what the players will do in training, serving into that channel, making it drop near the baseline. Someone has to take responsibility from Thailand. Someone's got to say, it's mine, and have to say that early, and then have that conviction to go and play the ball.
So Herbots serving. Pianut libero with the reception. Terrific spike from the outside. Chachuan moves to 19 points in the game now. That the 15th clean kill.
Dear me, well, Grabelna doesn't need to help with the middle because Chachuan is a threat, and Grabelna knows it. That's why she's making that face, because she should have waited for the second tempo attack.
Herbots with the service reception, scrambling in the backcourt, sees Grabelna come out to help. But then with the Belgian defense is still disorganized. Thailand closed the gap to within 4, taking a brace of back-to-back points.
Grabelna's done it again. She jumped with the middle again and left a free swing outside again.
Terrific depth, but it's out of bounds. Grabelna going for the corner, but instead it's gone beyond the confines of the court. Timeout has been taken. Thailand are back to within 3.
Just wonder whether or not those two blocking errors from Grabelna, she was thinking about, she went up then and compounded it with the hitting error. Van der Broek was most definitely talking about the blocking, and what Belgium need to be doing against the combination plays in order that they can react and get to the second tempo attacks. One of those will be making sure that you're set and your hands are above your head so that it's just off your toes to go, and then if it does go past you, you can then react and go to the second tempo. Particularly for Grabelna, she just needs to have a watching brief on that first attack, hand up on the middle with the left hand, and then get ready to go to the outside attacker.
Van Gestel tried to push it over. Thailand were wise to it and sent it straight back. And still, Belgium come away with the points, and that'll make Grabelna feel better about things, because on this occasion, her spike was deflected, but only out of bounds. So that stops the Thailand tide of unanswered points at 3. Lemons with the serve. Lemons then digs out the initial spike, but it's threatening to go over. Good recovery by Belgium. They push it over with Van Gestel. Quick contact at the net from Thailand. Hatia with the quick thinking, and that brings them back to within 3.
Bit of a miss hit through the middle, but it was good enough to go onto the floor, as it didn't go hard enough for someone to have to move to try and chase it, and then everybody going to it couldn't get it. Pimpachai has come on court for Thailand, number 16.
So Hatia with the serve. Van Gestel with the reception, then caught into play on the spike. Athletic overhand reception from Thailand. Oh, the cross-court kill is sensational. And Grabelna, well, there's been no damaging. Her confidence hasn't been dented at all after 3 successive difficult plays for her. She's bounced right back.
Willevand's gone into the wrong position. She's gone and stepped in. She's not covering anything there, and that left too big a gap then behind her that couldn't be covered.
Clever play. It's a point-winning play by Pornpun. Torted her body magnificently and put it over at an acute angle. And back to within 3, and it's Pornpun preparing to serve now. Fresh off producing her first point of the match. Pornpun then with the initial bump, but a towering block at the net from Janssens, her 5th stuff block of the game in her 16-point total. What a game she is having.
Chachuan had the option to hit this to 5. She's actually just hit it straight in the way that she was running, right into where Janssens was waiting, but there was space for her to go past.
Is that in or out? Point to Belgium because it's out of bounds. Terrific evasive action taken by the Belgian defender. Thailand have immediately requested a challenge.
Going to have a look to see whether it did catch any of the sideline. One thing they can't challenge is to whether or not it hit yet on the way out. Actually looking to see if there was a block touch. There's a huge block touch, so good call. Pimpachai it is, he'll come up with the point. Once it hits the block, as far as Thailand is concerned, it doesn't matter whether it lands in or lands out. If it hits the floor, wherever, it's their point.
Well left, Willevand pulling the ball long. Service error. Belgium restore their lead to 4. Closing in on match point here. 22-18. Service error from Janssens gives point straight back to Thailand. Bloomjet, the captain, with the serve. Gester with the service reception. The reverse set brings up a backcourt attack that is pounced upon by Grabelna. 18 points in the match for her now. Her 17th clean kill. Belgium edging closer towards the winning post. Difficult dig attempted, diving effort from the libero Niet. Ultimately in vain, and she went clattering into the advertising hoardings to boot. Thankfully she's okay. Again, just demonstrating the desire of these athletes.
She made a good touch. It was the wrong way, unfortunately for her.
So service error brings up match point. Thailand are going to really have to dig deep here if they hope to force this one to a 5th and deciding set. So it's Belgium's leading scorer, the bots serving for the match. Well, Thailand repel, stave off the first match point. They close to within 3.
Van der Broek telling his team stop jumping with the first tempo and line up the second tempo. And Gestel needed to get in and block as well, really.
Thailand keep themselves in the point. What an effort from Piernut. They get it over on a crucial contact. The big set from the libero Niet. Diving effort is ultimately in vain. Chachuan can't keep it alive. And it's unconfined joy on the court as Belgium secure the victory 3-1 after taking the 4th set 25-21. What a terrific spectacle we have just witnessed. Nice to see that handshake of respect between the respective coaching contingents. And Belgium end their losing skid. They came into this one having lost 3 straight matches, but they end the VNL with a victory. Just one that will do their spirits the world of good. They even up this very young rivalry, just the 2nd time these two nations have met at world level. And that rivalry now stands at 1 point apiece, and no celebrations tell you who have taken it. Thailand, well, difficult VNL for them. So they have lost for the 3rd straight week all of their round-robin matches, but no such concerns for Belgium because they end the 2018 Volleyball Nations League with a victory, and they are absolutely ecstatic at having done so. Well, the celebrations are continuing among the Belgian coaching staff and players. They worked really hard for this victory, and this was the winning moment.
It's off the block and away, and despite the best efforts of Chachuan, who's had a fantastic game with her 20-point haul. It was the spike from Grabelna, and then the joy and celebrations from the rest of the team as that one went off Willevant and away from where Chachuan was defending. And it's joy for the coach as well as they have their victory. Job well done by him and his coaching staff.
Well, it's been a terrific spectacle here. Keenly contested all the way. Let's take a look at the abundance of highlights that occurred during the course of that 4-set match.
Here are the stats then from the match. Just 9 points in it in the end. And it was Belgium that outspiked Thailand and outblocked as well, outserved them. But it was Thailand who got more errors from Belgium. It's Belgium who are delighted, and let's hear now from Britt Herbot, who will tell us her take on the game.
Hi, congratulations on the win. You had a great game tonight. How are you feeling?
We're feeling great. We're really happy with this win because we knew it would be really difficult against Thailand because they have like a lot of combinations, so it's really difficult for our block defense. Serving was really important for us, and I think we did great. So everyone is feeling good because it was difficult this last week here against good teams like Brazil, like Italy, and even Thailand. Totally different game, totally different players. But we're really happy with this game, and we feel good, yeah.
So what was the team strategy?
We had a strategy to serve well because otherwise if they would receive good it would be really difficult. They play a lot of combinations, so it would be like impossible to block all the players with 2 blocks, so it was really important to serve well, and I think we did it in ups and downs. Some moments it was really good serving and other times it was a little bit more difficult, but at the end I think we did a great job, yeah.
Thank you.
So this is how it affects the standings. No change, of course, at the top of the table. The top 5 nations going through to the final 6, along with the host nation, China. But the action here in southern Italy is at the bottom end of the table between teams hoping to break losing streaks. Belgium came in having lost 3 matches in succession. Thailand had lost 8 matches in succession, and it's the Thailand losing streak that is extended. Belgium securing their 4th win of the VNL to end at 4-11. You saw what it meant to them at the conclusion of the contest, and that wraps up the action. So that concludes pool play for these 2 teams. We've got one more pool encounter to come in week 5 here in Eboli, Italy. Join us for that, but in the meantime, thank you for staying with us, and thank you for being part of the game.